Good morning. This is MS. There's Hope. We're talking with Dr. Sanja Tamburic from British Columbia, Vancouver. Today, our topic is going to be fasting, types of fasts, and just fasting in general. I fast. I've been fasting for years. I love it. Anyway, we're going to read a short disclaimer. Good morning, Doctor. Sorry, I normally say good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to read a short disclaimer so that our friends won't sue us, and I'll be ready to go. This interview is from our own personal experiences treating people with the Coimbra protocol, and myself personally doing the Coimbra protocol. We are not giving medical advice. Ways and means of treating chronic autoimmune diseases vary per individual. Therefore, we suggest that you use a licensed medical professional. We are speaking of our own experiences, and this interview is for entertainment purposes only. Dr. Sanja, take it away.
Hi, John. Fasting is my favorite topic these days. As you know, I've tried creating a fasting group for MS patients, and I'm still going to propose and invite all the patients that are listening to this and are interested in doing fasting and don't know how. I'm happy to assist with that by providing the information and support. But today we're going to discuss pros and cons of fasting, but mainly pros and who should and who shouldn't be doing fasting and different ways of doing fasting. So people have fasted for centuries, as you know, and if we look at how human beings have survived previously, is through fasting because food was not always available. So there was some, if you look at the hunters-gatherers diet, when they were having feasts, days when they were having feasts and days when they ate hardly anything, and they've survived and they were really healthy. Also, some people have fasted for religious reasons. So what fasting really means is avoiding food intake. And fasting doesn't have to be necessarily prolonged for several days. That is more of an advanced fasting once you prepared your body for that kind of a fast. It is very powerful fast. But before you go there, we have to look at first, what are the absolute contraindications for fasting or engaging in fasting? And that is pregnancy. And teenagers and children, and only some patients. I don't want to exclude diabetics, even type 1s, because I've had really good success with type 1 diabetics who were able to manage their sugar levels with fasting. Okay, so like I said previously, not all fasting is the same and there are different levels. Speaking of those with low blood sugar, actually fasting is going to regulate their blood sugar levels. It's going to decrease the insulin resistance, and their insulin is going to become more flexible. So fasting can be done also in short periods, which we call intermittent fasting, which means that you would be fasting for anywhere from 12 to 16 hours and then eating for 6 to 8 hours a day, hopefully a good diet. Or you could do fasting, strict fasting for 2 days on a low calorie and eating normally for 5 days. Intermittent fasting also says that you do not have to fast like that every day. You can start once a week or twice a week doing the fasting just to make your insulin more flexible. And then slowly you will find that you're not hungry anymore in the morning. And it doesn't have to be done that way. It's the easiest way if you fast overnight and add the evening and the morning. It's easier to do. You can also do the fasting from dinner to dinner if you're doing 5 and 2. But most of the people are skipping breakfast and starting their meals either 11, 12 o'clock. And this will all be dependent on your daily schedule. When do you last eat your dinner, and when you get up and when you go to work, etc., etc. But it can definitely be done. So the other more advanced type of fasting that causes cell death, or what we call autophagy, which is the ultimate goal of fasting, can also be done through keto diet. If we do keto diet, we can also stimulate autophagy, and it's also considered just like fasting. And then we're going into, like I said, more of a serious fasting, and that is a 3-day fast or a 4 or 5-day fast, depending on your body strength and pre-existing conditions, like I said. So when we do 3-day fast, you can also start with just 1 24-hour day fast as a preparation. And then move to 2 and then to 3 days. Why 3 days are important is this is when you start to eliminate the toxins out of your body. All the old senescent cells that are not functioning, that are dead, it's just cleaning out your garbage. It's just like cleaning out your garage and your storage, the things that you no longer need. So when you start releasing these dead cells, non-functioning cells, which are usually product of inflammation, or the old cells that have very poor functioning mitochondria, you're going to push them out through your blood and the lymphatics. They're going to be quenched and released out of the body. So what that does to the body, it stimulates a growth hormone, which again will stimulate a renewal of the cells. What it also does, it changes the signaling to the DNA, which is very important in autoimmune disease. Signaling is everything. We know that with the toxins, we're not only releasing toxins from the blood, but also from the brain. So during this fasting is really important to detoxify and declutter your life in general. And it's the time to really go inwards and don't do too much, and really let go of everything that doesn't serve you anymore. It's an important part of the cleansing. And when you do these fasts, it's also important that you are not overly stressed, and that you do not engage in toxic emotions, which may come up as a part of the detox. So with what I want to go back to is the signaling that happens. I'll give you an example, which a lot of women are familiar with, but men too, is, for example, when they want to do the facelifts, they stimulate the skin and they injure the skin, so that they create and stimulate these dead cells to get released. And what it does, it stimulates new collagen production and new cells, which hopefully will be healthier cells, right? So fasting is very important in regeneration, in brain health. It will also help with the cholesterol. You will absorb your nutrients much better. So those patients that have gut issues, whether it's SIBO, whether it's candida overgrowth or parasites, doing these kinds of fasts will help eliminate also latent viruses, which we know are involved in MS. So during fasting, you will be able to eliminate all of these viruses and toxins and microbes. So your gut will function better. You will absorb your nutrients better. You will absorb your vitamin D, and your vitamin D will work much better. On that note of the signaling, I believe that those people that have VDR resistance and often struggle with absorption of vitamin D, and is mainly due to this toxicity causing this resistance. So when you do fasting, you will open up these receptors to more vitamin D and other nutrients in the body, which will induce regeneration. So that's a really, really important part. Also, it will lower down cholesterol. It will balance the blood sugar levels. It will strengthen the immune system because you will release all these other viruses that are lingering in the body, and it will stimulate your T cell immunity. Also, it will help slow down the aging because of the stimulation of the growth hormone. It will prevent osteoporosis, and how long how often you should do the fasting, that's also dependent on your overall state of health and your natural flexibility. Some people do it twice a year, some people do it monthly.
That's what I try to do, is monthly.
Monthly. And why
if
don't you share with us how long are your fasts and what is your experience?
Well,
I think
normally I fast at least a day, all right, 24 hours. I want to tell you, a day fast for me is harder than a 3-day fast. The reason being is that once you hit 3 days, you could probably go a month. I mean, your body gets used to it. But the 24-hour fast, it's difficult. You know, around 16, 18 hours, I want something to eat. And once I get through that, which usually takes more than a day, it becomes easier. But I can tell you this, I feel fantastic after a good fast. What Dr. Sanja is saying about getting rid of the old cells there, that's how you feel. You feel regenerated.
Yes, I have a question. So when you're doing the fasting, do you take your supplements that day?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
I
so
always, yes.
Yes.
I take my vitamin D too.
Yeah. So yes, first and second day when I've done fasting, the second day was actually the worst for me. And then when you get over that hump after the third day, like you said, then you've released majority of the toxins, and then you can continue going for longer periods. You don't want to overdo it because you're going to start breaking down your muscle, and not very many people can really afford to do that. The main point is to be able to start breaking down your own fat and release the toxins, because toxins are stored in the fat, right? Majority of toxins. So it's really important to switch into ketosis, which is what you're actually doing during fasting, and you mobilize all the toxins. So you kind of can.
One other thing I would add, it's kind of a mental thing in that you have to decide why you're fasting. Are you fasting to lose weight? It's probably not going to be a good fast. But if you're cleansing your system, it's just a different mentality. And you're not worried about losing weight, or I'm doing this to, drop a few pounds, whatever. When I do it to cleanse myself, I feel better and it's easier. I don't know.
I totally agree with you. It's the intention. You have to set intention, and then you will have no problem. It's mind over matter.
Exactly.
Yes, and you can drink water, and you can also drink herbal teas that will help you detoxify. Only herbal teas, because anything with caffeine has more substance, and also it will cause you to lose more minerals, which is not what you want. So it's definitely mind over matter. It costs nothing. I really want to encourage all the patients to take the opportunity and try it and challenge themselves, because it's going to be an amazing experience, and they don't need anybody to do it. They can do it by themselves. They can do it at home, and they just gain so many benefits from doing that. Like no other thing is as powerful as that.
And the herbal tea thing that she just brought up there, it kind of goes along with something that I've said for a long time. Water gets old. You need to learn to mix it up on the protocol so that you're not drinking, all that water all the time and you get burnt out. And therefore, you don't drink enough water. You cut way back. Drink some herbal tea or, broth or something, some kind of liquid to break it up a little bit. When I started out, I used to squeeze lemon into my water and
Yes,
oranges.
lemon, put a piece of cucumber in it for flavor, or a
Exactly.
mint leaf, or anything that you like. I want to summarize one more time for people that are thinking about doing fasting. First, change your diet. Clean what you don't need out of your diet. Start with intermittent fasting. For women, usually they can start with 12 to 14 hours and then work up to 16 hours. For men, due to hormones, it's easier to do 16 hours straight fasting. Do that once a week, then twice a week, then 3 times a week, then start every day. Then move on to doing 24-hour day fast, dinner to dinner next day. That seems to be the easiest for people before they get into real fasting. And then you can, after you've done that and you feel stable and you don't have sugar cravings, then you can think about doing 3-day fast. It's mind over matter. It's setting the intention, and you can do 3 days. It's really important to do 3 days, because in day 3 you go into the autophagy, start digesting all the dead cells, and this brings rejuvenation. I can guarantee that your energy levels will increase. Your mitochondria, your energy production machine in your cells will be rejuvenated. It will be decluttered. It's just like cleaning the windows, and you're able to see through. So this is kind of take-home message on how to practice this. And if you want to do the 3-day fast, you can sign up with the group on Facebook, and I'm happy to offer support.
Do you know the name of the page?
Sorry, I think it's the fasting, water fasting.
This interview will go out on the Coimbra North America page. And
Yes,
then
and we put John as an administrator of that group.
you can contact me if you're having trouble finding it,
Yes.
and we'll help you out.
Yes.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, I already have a subject for our next chat. I'd like to talk about kidney stones, because people that don't move around a lot, they're on the protocol, are constantly talking to me about kidney stones, about worried about getting them. I actually have one lady that just had surgery for kidney stones. So it's a problem that we need to address. And so I hope next time we can talk about that.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Sanja.
You're
look
welcome.
Look forward to talking to you again in a few months.